All right, Shalom. It's your brother Kushab coming back at you with another lesson. Before I get started, I want to give all praises, glory, infinite honors unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, Thomas is true and rule well, and peace, blessings, and salutations be to the hopefully elect, as well as those that believe in the gospel, and may you endure it to the end, Lord willing. All right, and I just kind of want to get into a quick lesson, um, because at the end of the day, what most newer believers don't understand is that the truth is a hard pill to swallow. All right, there's another term that I pulled up. It's called I'll get it in a second, but when you actually understand and know these prophecies and these mysteries, all right, when you actually come to the realization of how substantial, how detrimental it is, knowing and understanding the truth, as you first finding out about the wisdom, knowledge, the understanding, the Lord starts to deal and sup with you, it's definitely a hard pill to swallow, man. All right, because like matter of fact, I'll open up this Revelation. I think it's 10 and 9. It's Revelation chapter 10 and verse 9. It says, "And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth as sweet as honey." Right? Keep going. It says, verse 10, "And I took the little book of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth as sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter." Right? So, me and the brother Amawai, we did a lesson on this, how the truth is bittersweet, a couple years ago, man. And, understanding, that we're all Israelites, that's sweet. Oh, man, we the chosen people of the Most High. But then you come to the understanding that, hey, the Lord gonna kill 2/3 of his own people. Put them to death in the most gruesome way that you can imagine. Some of them are actually going to get hit with nuclear missiles. The Lord, Yahweh Shai himself, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, all right, or Christ, he's actually going to, have the bloods of the 2/3, sprinkled on his garments. The Lord's own people, his chosen people. And that's bitter, man. That's what makes the truth a hard pill to swallow. All right. Now, when you go to Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, I think it's Ezekiel 3. Right? Yep. It says, Ezekiel 3:1, it says, "Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll and go speak unto the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness," man. You see, so the truth is sweet, Like I said, and I can go into, countless examples of the scriptures being sweet, right? But, ultimately, it, that it's sweet at first. Like I said, understanding that, we actually are the Israelites according to the scriptures. We actually do fit under the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. We actually are, promised a kingdom of eternity, all right? But then you go into the bitterness, we actually have to go through Jacob's trouble, right? There actually, is going to be a time like never before that this place, is going to get hit with nuclear missiles. The Lord is going to kill 2/3 of our own people. You see, it is harsh truths, all right, or hard pills to swallow within the scriptures, man. And that's why it tells you in Revelation that, once you digest, it tastes sweet at first, but once it gets to the belly, all right, it becomes bitter, because you actually have to deal, with the reality of things, and when Jake first coming in, like the, guy that's been kind of coming out, asking questions, he was asking questions, Saturday at camp, And his reactions, said it all. It'll be like, oh man, that's hard. That's hard. That's what he kept saying. He's like, that's hard. I believe that's what he kept saying. That's hard. That's hard. Meaning that's, it's hard. It's hard for, certain people to, intake and actually understand what's happening or what's the significance of what's going on, man. And it is hard, right? But only the prophets, the men of the Lord, are going to understand, know it, and keep pushing. Like the elder brother said down here, man, as far as, family, all right, friends that you may have in the world, I already, cried my tears for them, right? Mothers, fathers, I got a big family, multiple brothers, and I'm the only one with the truth. So, hey, ultimately, like the brother said, I cried my tears for them. It's a hard pill to swallow. But, hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is. The Lord ain't choose them. He chose us, man. All right? The Lord willing, right? Now, let me finish this out in this definition. Now, it says, a hard pill to swallow is an idiom that means a unpleasant fact. And the truth is unpleasant, which is why most people, turn away from it. They have a disdain for how, the way we preach and the things that we do teach about, because it's unpleasant. People don't want to listen to something that they don't like or the way that it comes off, or how you going to tell me the Lord not going to save everybody? Oh, you telling me we the chosen people, but we all not going to be saved? You see, it's unpleasant, man. All right. It says an unpleasant fact, true, or disappointing situation that is very difficult to accept, even though you have no choice, you see? So you have no choice but to accept the facts of the truth and what we're telling you, all right, according to these prophecies, man, And like, brothers say, man, we believe that we have the 100% truth here at Great Millstone through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, man. You see, it says it compares to the mental pain of facing bad news, to the physical discomfort of choking down a large, bad-tasting medicine, man. All right? And don't that sound like the scripture in Revelation, 10 and 9? It was in my belly, bitter, So, it says, as users on Preply agree, the phrase describes a struggling of facing harsh realities. And the truth is a harsh reality, all right? Especially, to these other heathen nations and, things like that. Finding out that, hey, man, all of the heathen are getting ready to go into captivity, man. That's a harsh reality, you see? But, let's go back. Let's see. Right, now it's a hard truth. All right, now it says a hard truth is a real fact or situation that causes pain or discomfort because it is difficult to accept. That's hard. Man, that's tough. It says it is an honest reality that people often try to avoid, ignore, or sugarcoat because it challenges their feelings, beliefs, or desires. You see? That's why I tell you in Galatians, I believe, 4 and around 16. Yep, this is Galatians 4 and 16. It says, "Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?" Question mark. So am I now your enemy just because I'm telling you the truth? The facts of the scriptures, the facts of what the Bible actually entails and what it actually says. Am I therefore now I become your enemy now? And yes, we have become enemies, as it says, we brought this out at camp, we have become enemies, to our own nation, Why? Because they are enemies of the Most High, man. They are enmity with the Most High, as it tells you in James, the 4th chapter, What else going on? Romans 11. This is Romans 11. And, yep, it's 28. It says, as concerning the gospel, they are enemies for your sakes, but as touching the election, they are beloved for the Father's sake, man. All right. So there's a separation. We actually have, we've become enemies, all right, to 2/3 of our own people. Why? All because of the fact of, we telling them the truth, or the fact of the matter of what it actually is. And, what made me bring that precept out is because it says, people often try to avoid, ignore, or sugarcoat because it challenges their feelings, beliefs, or desires, man. So when you actually hear the truth and somebody's telling you it, you gonna be in a disarray of, oh, that's not the truth. And what that turns you into, a scoffer, a mocker, or there go them Israelite dudes, and it puts you in that category. You see, all because of what? You try to avoid, all right, or ignore or sugarcoat your feelings, man. Because this thing challenges what you were taught your whole life. What grandma taught you, what your mama taught you, what your daddy taught you. All right, that's not what the Bible say, man. But hey, man, at the end of the day, the truth is it is a tough pill to swallow. And if you can't swallow that pill, you better go pray to the Most High that you can, right? That you may continue to grow and push, and move forward in the ministry, man. That you may grow, for those that's sincere. But if you're not sincere, man, it is what it is. So, I don't want to write this out. This lesson was edifying, man. Until next time, I say shalom.